Hey guys, welcome. All right, so if you're watching this on YouTube, I have this like weird angelic light going on. So I'm recording during this big storm that passed through. By the time you listen to this, it will have passed through. So it's Sunday and I'm in Rhode Island, of course, and so we're getting snow and the snow already started. So we're super prepared where we live. We typically get more snow than anyone else in Rhode Island. In fact, when I was a kid, I live in this county called Foster Gloucester, and they never had school. So when I was a kid, you used to hear about no school days on the radio in the morning. You'd get up and be like, no school, Foster Gloucester. And I always wanted to live there because they never had, they never had school. And lo and behold, I do. And then my house is built on a ledge. So we are in a strange weather pattern where we even get like usually a foot more than our neighbors. So we're predicted to get 2 feet of snow. So I'm counting on like 2.5, 3. Anyway, okay. So I had a friend say something to me recently. She was like, I'm starting to think that the whole like crux to like beating the hustle of parenting and the modern struggles of modern motherhood is like the nervous system. Like you should go down a nervous system rabbit hole. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And she listens to the podcast and listens to it a lot and knows it really well. And she was like, oh, I guess I didn't realize that. So, and no shade to my friend, you know who you are. No shade. But I was like, oh, I didn't. One of the things that happens with me, and it has happened throughout my life, is I connect dots very quickly. I connect dots faster than most people, and not as, I don't say that like I'm better or smarter or anything. I connect random dots and I connect them fast, and I can like pull layers away and reverse engineer a problem before most people. And so I do feel like that's like one of my gifts and one of my a superpower that I have. And so in case this needs to be said outright, I realize I haven't maybe said it in as plain of language as needs to be said. This is everything. So this is where my work has shifted. Okay. It's not that I am absolutely sick of talking about pee and poop for sure, but I can't give you any advice as to what to do with your children or child development or what studies say about child development and what we know. I cannot give you any tips, tricks, strategies, advice if your nervous system is not regulated. So that is what I've been talking about on this podcast and on Instagram and my newsletter. All of these things are the dots that connect that help you be a more regulated mom or dad. Okay? And dad. It's not an either or. So the reason I am harping on the fucking phone every episode is because that is the singular most dysregulating device in our lives. That is the biggest thing that has changed from a generation ago, from even my early parenting. My early parenting, we had rough cell phones. I think it was I had a flip phone when Pascal was born, maybe first generation iPhone, but it was later. It wasn't the year it came out. So we did not have that as a distraction. And I harp on it because I bricked up my phone yesterday for a day and a half. And that's just with social media. I got so much done because I wasn't multitasking. I was not dividing my attention. Now, do I think it's realistic for you to give up your phone? Absolutely not. Do I think it's realistic for you to give up social media? I think it can be, but if you feel like it can't be, then we have to mitigate it, right? So that's what I'm harping on. I don't care what you do with your phone. But I'm telling you right now, if you are struggling in motherhood and you're not willing to look at your phone use, then I've got nothing to say to you. Okay. Like that is the singular most distracting thing we have. It is distracting for moms who do not have social media, and the attention that we give other people on social media is a distraction. Getting recipes online while you're trying to cook, and you know how it goes. Okay, you got a recipe on your phone, right? And if you don't have your screen set so that it stays on for a really long time, now you have to keep, doing your passcode, opening the phone, scrolling. Where's the recipe? And then your kid comes in and, mommy, 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 and you're sharp with your kid, right? So that's why I harp on that. One of the reasons I've been harping on finding the small ways to love your life, to add whimsy, to love your life within the chaos is because that keeps you regulated. Okay. That it has nothing else to do with like anything. Why do I harp on strength training? Because it keeps you regulated. So all of these things are tied together so that you can be a calmer, less overwhelmed, less overstimulated mother. Now, I'll add to this. I had mentioned, I asked of my email list, hey, what is one of the things that is, you know, um, no, like do you feel like you're a palm tree in the wind as far as a mother, right? And I asked this big question. I got thousands of responses, and a theme emerged of moms who had gone back to the basics, that had really just focused on rhythm, routine, boundaries, good food, good meal times, good structure, and no social media. Like though most of the people who replied that I'm not particularly struggling in motherhood, right? That's what the common theme was. Am I saying that's absolute? No. Am I saying that you're a terrible mom if you do these things? No. If you have social media, if you're struggling, you're not a bad mom. You're struggling. But here's the thing, guys, and I just want to say this very plainly, okay? I cannot change certain things. I cannot change if you have a spouse that you thought was going to show up for you and isn't. I regularly hear from moms whose husbands don't believe in the mental load of moms, don't even believe it. They can't have the conversation. Okay, so that exists. Um, uh, I cannot change the fact that we are in late stage capitalism. I cannot change the fact that you don't have a support system. I can create content giving you ideas as to how you might be able to start getting a support system. And that is my Village series, the burnout episode, and how to make choices and look at the choices you've made. I can offer those, but I can't change those. I can't change where you live. I can't change if you are in a bad neighborhood. I can't change if your neighborhood is disappointing. I can't change any of that. What I can do is try to offer you the things that will make a small difference in your life, that will strip away some of the bullshit. And this is key. Our children borrow our nervous system. Our children cannot self-regulate, 0 to 6 especially. They cannot self-regulate. So why is the buzzword co-regulation? Because they have to borrow ours. So if you are overwhelmed and overstimulated, your child is borrowing your nervous system. They are going to borrow your overwhelmed and overstimulated. Now, what's that going to look like in your child? It's going to look like a stage 5 clinger. It is going to look like no independent play, up your ass every day, because you now are shaky to them. You are giving off, right? Nonverbal communication. Your nervous system is saying, ah! They are catching that. Okay. So we have to do the things we can so that they get us semi-regulated. Now, does that mean you're calm all the time? Absolutely fucking not. Does that mean you're never going to yell at your kids? Does that mean you are always trying to stay zen? No. It means recognizing, holy shit, I'm getting fluttery. One of the things I have noticed about me and social media, and honestly, this may be just me because I am getting a water hose of comments and shitty people. So like I have to like manage a lot more on social media. I can feel myself get amped up. I can feel myself get pissed off. I go out for a walk. I work out. I dance. I get on the vibration plate. I got rid of my rebounder because I just don't have the real estate for it. And I wish I had it, but I do something to get myself regulated. I notice it's happening. I notice if I'm about to snap at Pascal or Maverick. Maverick is highly overstimulating, as chaotic and as unpredictable as a toddler, barking and all of a sudden he'll need me. And I'm like, what are you doing? You were just sleeping. What are you doing? Obviously not nearly as much as a child, but still it's there, right? It does. I can feel it. It's a fluttering in my chest. I can feel like that's what it feels like to me. And I check myself. I take 5 minutes. Taking 5 minutes when you feel dysregulated to go on your phone is not regulating it. Everything about the phone is dopamine. It's highly stimulating. The colors, I'm trying to give you guys all this, like all these things in the technoference episode, things that you can do to minimize that. But I think what happens in motherhood is we get a couple of minutes and we go right to our phone. And I know it feels like it's relaxing, but it's not. It feels relaxing because you're getting dopamine, and that's what your brain is like. Hey, give me some more. Give me some more. Your brain doesn't care that you're overstimulated. Your brain doesn't care that you're like frying yourself, frying all your circuits. It's like, yeah, that's fun. Let's have more, right? So these are the things, because if you just consistently, I just saw this meme, it said 98% of parenting is not losing your shit when your child's losing your shit, even though you want to lose your shit because they're losing their shit. That is 98% of parenting, literally, because when you're regulated, I can almost guarantee you know the right thing to do, right? It's when we start getting all frazzled and overwhelmed that we lose sight. And part of that overwhelm is too much information, too much news. Okay. And that's where on the episode where I talked about optimism being the moral courage, we are being given bad news like a fire hose right now. And it is relentless shit that's being done on American soil, shit that's being done on foreign soil. Like, it is like ridiculous. On top of that, we've got snowmageddon happening today, or ice storms in places that don't have infrastructure. It's like we could be buried in despair, but we can't. We have to take the reins on the things that we can control. And so if I haven't said that plainly, I'm saying it now. And I'm not like I'm not trying to sound condescending. I'm taking it very slow. I'm trying to talk softer so that I'm not overwhelming you. But I think it was just surprising to me, but not because I jump ahead sometimes and I forget to fill in the blanks. So if that wasn't clear to you, I hope it is now. Okay, I'm going to interrupt my podcast to talk about my classes. So as you may or may not know, in February, I am hosting 2 live classes. One is Rant and Release, and unfortunately that one is sold out, and Strength and Mobility. And there is still room in those for you to join us. So this is going to be awesome. I have been talking about strength training for years, as you guys know, and I finally have something for busy moms. So you get 7 full body 15-minute workouts. So if you have just a little bit of time, you do 1. If you have more time, you can do 2 or 3 back to back. And so that way it fits into everybody's schedule. We're only using dumbbells, and I'm filming right in my small, tiny house. You do not need a lot of room. Shoot, you don't even need to wear a bra. Very exciting. You also have 3 full mobility practices, and these are also recorded. And these are going to keep you just super soft and buttery and feeling good in your body. I would die without mobility. That is what allows me at 57 to snowboard and hike mountains. I can take a fall and tumble as if I were a drunk, because they never seem to get hurt, because I have mobility and flexibility. So we're going to work on that. You also get 4 live classes with me. You pick a time slot on the website and we meet for 4 live classes. You do not have to be there. If you have a question, you can write it in. These will be recorded and sent to you so you can watch the replay. This is awesome. I will be able to fix your form in real time. We can talk about nutrition. We're going to talk about strength training, myths, versus fiction, bro science versus real science. These will be incredible. Again, if you can't make it, it's totally okay. The videos are yours. You have access to them for as long as I'm alive, okay? And then lastly, we have a Facebook group, which again, you do not have to take part in if you don't have social media or if you don't have Facebook, but there will be that community aspect. So I hope you'll join me. You guys know how much I adore strength training, and I am so happy that I finally designed a program for busy moms, and I'm really excited about it. So go to my website, or the link is in the show note. All right, now back to the podcast. I also want to state something that is extremely obvious, but still needs to be said. So I had done a reel about this idea of moms who go back to basics, moms who don't do activities, right? And I'm talking about the 0 to 6 years, like just slowing it down, really getting used to being a parent of this child. Even if it's your fourth child, you still are parenting a new child, and just using that time so that you just nail your boundaries, you nail routine, you get all the good food, you learn about this kid, but we don't do a ton of activities unless they're, really good for the whole family, getting good sleep, going to bed early, all these things, right? Just basics, the basics that I talk about all the time. Connection, a lot of connection time with your kid, a lot of big play, a lot of roughhousing, a lot of stories. And that's it. That I've always, if I have influenced you in any way, I hope it's just to slow down and that you need less shit and less things in your life. And so a therapist commented on my post, and she was like, "This is so disappointing. I thought you were going to say that moms with support are the ones who don't struggle." And I was like, well, no, because some of these moms who contacted me don't have a strong support system, but they just, oh, and she said I was playing to the ideal of perfect motherhood. And I was like, well, no, I'm anti-perfection. I'm like, slow down. You need less. Just let's all slow down and not give in to the hustle. And then she went on to tell me research has shown that moms with support struggle less. And I had to go for a walk with Maverick. I was so furious because I was like, no fucking shit. Like, is this who? That is some dumbass research. Who needed research that moms with a support system get more support, therefore potentially less struggle? Like, I was like, in other news, water is wet. Like, right? So, because I didn't think that needed to be said, because I was pretty sure we were all aware of it, right? We are all aware of, like, oh, this is why we need a village. This is why I don't have a village. So, in case you didn't know, moms with a strong support system will potentially struggle less. But even then, I need to tell you, because again, there's such a vast experience. And I think one of the true dangers of social media is we have all gotten into our little Wally carts at the end of Wally, and we think that everybody is having our experience. And if somebody has a different experience, we have to, well, not that, not this. And I know everybody's got a different experience, but moms with support could still have struggle. Guys, I had support. I lived in close proximity of very great grandparents, like amazing grandparents. I still was up with the baby at night. Like, nobody took that over for me. And it doesn't mean, yes, of course I had support, and I'm not minimizing that, but moms still struggle. Okay. And if you have an extenuating circumstance, a high needs child, a diagnosis, if you have disabilities, chronic illness yourself, like okay. So this is the next thing that needs to be said that I thought was obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. This depends. It depends on a myriad of factors that I could not possibly account for, even if I had 1,000 years and 1,000 years full of 1,000 hours of talking about this. I could never find the exact combination of difficulties that you are potentially dealing with. And some people, even with support, are still having a hard time. So we don't play the motherhood suffering Olympics, and there's no prize for who has it worse. But I just didn't think that needed to be said. But yes, obviously, if people have support, that things might be easier. And obviously, this all depends on you. And when I talk generalities. I have to, right? Like this goes back to like for years with the crowd potty training, people be like, you forgot to write about this scenario. And I was like, no, number one, that's a highly personalized scenario you've got going on. The other thing is if I wrote down everything I know about potty training, every case I've ever worked with, which is wildly different each case, right? If I wrote that down, guys, OCAR body training would be 40, 100,000 pages, and it would like be a book that was like 3 feet off the floor. Nobody would publish it and you wouldn't read it. Which is why I have a podcast, which is why I work one-on-one with people, right? So whenever I talk, please know that I'm saying what's true for most people most of the time. Also, I hear from hundreds of people on my email list, hundreds of thousands of people on Instagram, and comments on Spotify, one-on-one clients, the one-on-one clients that the consultants work with. I hear from a myriad of people. So I try to present you with like a lot of good, solid information that may not always be right for your scenario. So you have to always take my words, filter my ideas, whatever I say, and filter it through you, your life experience, how you are as a mom, and your child, and your experience of that child. I maintain that you are always going to be the expert of your child. Okay. I will never be the expert of your child. You will. You are uniquely suited for the child you have. I firmly believe this in a truly spiritual sense. My job is to give you a platter full of things that you can pick and choose. I'm an a la carte system, okay? I'm a buffet. And you guys don't have to take every word I say. If something is working for you, don't fix it. So that'll happen. And you can have whatever's going on. I do not care if your kids go to bed at midnight. I don't care if you all sleep in a pile in the living room. I don't care if you shuffle beds. I don't care if they sleep till noon. If it works for your lifestyle and your life, do what works. I say a routine with sleep works best for most families because people work. A child has to go to daycare. They can't be sleeping till noon. They can't be up till midnight. But I've worked with feral families and they do everything upside down according to the quote unquote experts, but it works for them. Awesome. They plan on homeschooling. They plan on world school and they're traveling. Like, great for them. I am not here to fix what's not broken in your life. But if you are struggling, then I'm going to give you a buffet of things that might make your struggle less. But one thing that has happened I started noticing in potty training in my one-on-one work with potty training, and then it started happening in parenting too, which is, no, I'm not going to do that. 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 Fix my kid. But also I'm still just so overwhelmed. And I hear this I had somebody, comment on Instagram, and I thought this was almost the saddest thing I had ever heard. I'm just harping on the phone. I'm harping on social media. I'm like, guys, we got to manage it. We're in trouble. And she was like, nope, this makes me a better parent. I get all my ideas. I find out when something's wrong with my child from other people's posts, like she's diagnosing her kid on social media. I am a happier person when I'm on social media, and I don't care if my kids see me on the phone because I am happier. It was like, oh my God, no, like your kids aren't seeing a happy mom on the phone. They're seeing a mom on the phone. And so it's wild, right? Like we have people fighting that this isn't a problem. Now, granted, it may not be a problem for you. If it's not a problem for you, I always say this, if you can delete the app for a week, it's not a problem for you. But maybe you can delete it for a week and you notice, holy shit, I'm white knuckling, right? I mean, that's what I've noticed is when I shut it down for a day, I can feel myself like itchy that I want to be on. I want to hear, I want to address comments. I get very like, it's not that easy for me to just shut it down. It's getting easier. And yesterday what happened is I had shut it. I always shut Instagram down. I break it up. I try it like 5 o'clock at night. And then I've been really finding delaying it in the morning is what's key. Because if you open your phone first thing in the morning, you're dead in the water. Number one, your brain's going to want it the rest of the day. Just neurochemical reaction. It's like, yep, this is, and I have noticed that for sure. If I go first thing in the morning, I'm more likely to want to go back to it. And I can break it up for like, I'll break it up for 45 minutes so I can record a podcast. But then I'm like, okay, now I have to get back on. And so again, I figure if I'm experiencing it, somebody else is. And yesterday, though, it just, the more I delayed it, the more I felt that thing I always talk about, which is I'm opening the door to the entire world. I have storm prep to do. I had a lot of things. I was just having a chill day. I was getting so much done because I didn't have split focus. I didn't have the split focus that is the huge problem with the phone and social media. So I just kept letting it go. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It's a Saturday. Nobody's entitled to my time. Like I can do this. And it was like a relief. And so now when I shut it off, it's a relief. But even that's a feeling worth paying attention to, right? So if you can delete the app, any app, whatever it is, if it's TikTok, if it's Snapchat, I don't know what your particular poison is, but if you can let it go for a week, then and you're like, oh, it feels good. Notice that. Just notice that, or notice if you're itchy to get back on. So I just think it's wild that um that we're in this place where people are saying no, right? So like, no, I'm not, no, that helps me. Social media helps me. I need my phone for everything. What else do I hear? Oh, I'm not going to bed early. I need me time. I don't want to be touch time. I need time. I'm not waking up early. No, I need my sleep. But then the kicker is, but I'm still overwhelmed and overstimulated. And I'm like, okay, but you're not going to do any of the things to help yourself. And again, we can sit here and cry and moan and groan about the systemic things that are stacked against us as moms, because there are a shit ton. I'm not denying that. Like, our society hates kids. Moms are looked down upon, I swear, in almost every place. I think it's really hard to find a place where people are like, oh, thank you for creating the next generation of people. Like, we don't ever get that. Like, you're judged if your kid's on an iPad in a restaurant. You're judged if your kid cries in a restaurant. You're judged like all around. And so like, those things are already so stacked against us, so we can't be stacked against ourselves. And that's what I'm finding right now is, even in some private client work, is like, nobody wants to make the changes, but they all want things to be fixed. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. And do I wish we had a year maternity leave or 2 years? Yeah. Do I wish that we had, cheaper daycares or funded daycares so we weren't strapped for that? Yeah. Do I wish camps weren't like harder to get into than a Taylor Swift concert? Yeah. Like, I do. I wish we had so many more supports in place for moms, and we don't. So we're on our own, and so we have to fight for our own time. We have to fight for our own well-being, and something's got to give. And the overwhelm and overstimulation, I'm here to tell you, kids are inherently overstimulating. They're overwhelming. And the thing about kids, I feel like you just don't know what you're going to get every day, right? Like, you could get grumpy, you could get sick, right? And so, like, I just feel like, as parents, I've said this so many times, I feel like we're elite athletes, and you have to stay in this like peak condition, because like, it could go south any given day. You wake up and your kid's puking and you're like, shit, like, now I got to take a day off of work. I stayed up too late with Netflix and too many glasses of wine or too many Oreos, and now I feel like shit. Like, you're not on your game. I just feel like that's us. Like, we got to be in that fighting, like that boxing condition, on our toes every day, because you never know what is going to happen with a kid. They're so unpredictable. Or, they had a growth spurt overnight and now they're like a different person. Or, they were agreeable about eggs for breakfast, and this morning it makes them cry. And so, yeah, so we've got to take those things in. So I hope that helps. If it has felt, I feel bad, because if this didn't make sense to you before, it must have felt like I was kind of all over the map. And I'm not. This is very strategic. I'm really chipping away at like getting out of our own way, finding what we can strip away from our hecticness, our chaos, our busy lives, what is contributing to it, and what can we put aside so that we can be in a place of clarity, groundedness, and as regulated as possible. It's not possible to be regulated all the time. Please do not think that you have to always talk to your child like this. No, sometimes you're going to be like, are you fucking nuts? Stop with this bullshit. I mean, I hope you're not cussing like that. And well, I guess it doesn't matter. They're words. But, sometimes we're going to lose it on them. I forgot to say this earlier about like them borrowing our nervous systems. But one of the things is what you resist, it persists, right? If you resist, it persists. And so when our kids are borrowing our nervous system and we are upset, overwhelmed, overstimulated, overactivated by especially news, politics, things beyond our immediate control, our kids are going to react because their nervous system is janky, right? Their nervous system is janky and they're not going to react like we're reacting. That's not how it works. They're going to react as though we're in trouble. We're in a danger zone. And so their nervous system's going to get jacked. But one of the things I was going to say is that there are going to be days where you're exhausted, right? No matter what. And so one thing that has been happening in parenting recently is I think people try to what do I want to say? Override their own feelings and present something fake to their kids in the interest of looking calm. And so many people think regulation is a look, right? I'm gentle. That's where the gentle parenting got so screwed up, right? People think it just means like, I'm going to talk to you like this and I'm never going to lose my shit and I'm going to be Earth Mother. And if you're lying about that, like that's not good for your kid. We also know that that's the gentle parenting that turns into permissive parenting. But I want to say something. If you are overwhelmed or exhausted, you're up with the baby and now your toddler's a disaster. Okay, lean into it. These are the days. So I talk about this with the early dinner. If you're both working outside the home or you're a single parent, when you get home, I am a huge fan of the earlier dinner and like a landing time, right? I've talked about that before. Like get a movie going. This is perfect time for family screen time, right? Everybody chill. If you're exhausted, lean into that and your child will not be as clingy. They will not be up your ass because if you're like, I'm so tired, I'm going to build a nest here in the living room so I can watch you guys play and I can be here, but I'm so tired. I'm just going to stay on the couch or the floor. You can lean into it. And sometimes, of course, obviously, it depends. This isn't always possible, right? But you can lean into it and that will help. That will help your nervous system. So don't deny any of your real emotions that are going on. If you're angry at your child, you can say, I'm angry and I need a minute. And then you dance it off, shake it off, hum it off, go outside, look at the horizon. Like all the things I've talked about on this podcast, you can do that. What's going to get you into trouble is trying to resist your own emotion and then trying to resist what's happening for your child. And I know this, I've been there. I call it running from your kid. Like you just get off of me and you'll do anything to get them to just get a little second to yourself. And you're like running, like almost through the house. Like you're just trying to get a little space between you and the child. And I've just learned over the years that when you just turn to the child and say, I'm done. I can't, like, this day is crazy. I need to just sit. You want to come snuggle with me? Yeah. You want to maybe we could watch a program together. Boom. There, you just leaned into it. Okay. Leaning into, you lean into your anger, not that you want to sit there, but you admit it. I'm angry. Give me 5 minutes. I can sit here. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to shake it off so that I'm not angry anymore. And you will regulate yourself. Okay. What happens when we try to bury the emotion, we try to resist it, it only lingers. And it doesn't matter what kind of game face. If you are super overwhelmed in a moment or exhausted and you're trying to pretend like you're not, that's where you get into trouble. You ever it's like when you're trying to cry, like trying not to cry, like something upsets you and and you're like waving your eyes and you're trying not to cry. It just makes you cry more. It's like it's so hard to hold emotion in. And so and your kid, the problem is with kids is it's not that they're the smartest, it's just that they're locked into you. So they know they're locked into your nonverbal communication and your nervous system. So you can't hide from them because it doesn't matter. They're borrowing it. And your fake gentle words, that doesn't help at all. No, you know what I mean? Those words don't help. It's not about your game face. It's about your honest emotion and your nervous system. All right. I hope that helped you guys. Again, I do feel bad. I feel like, have I just looked like a nut job if these dots haven't connected to you? But yes, that's my work right now, is all the things we can strip away that will help make us stay grounded, make us love our lives a little bit more. love our messy, dirty, chaotic, crazy, unregulated lives. Yeah, because we also deserve beauty, and optimism is the true moral courage. And I have come to think of myself as the string quartet on the deck of the Titanic. Like if I'm going down looking good and with a cute house and cute clothes. And I think we are going down. But I'm going to be optimistic. All right, you guys, as always, rock on, put your phone down, and I will be continuing to just give you a buffet of things that depend on your situation. And if you have support, I am so happy for you. And I still see you on the nights you struggle. And if you don't have support, I see you and I see how hard you're working. And yeah, but put your phone down and rock on. Have a beautiful day, guys.